Hey guys, it's Jim at Pokemon, and this is my collection. Guys, I cannot tell you how crazy this is. This is surreal. This is so surreal to put all this kind of in one place for you guys and go through it. This is absolutely insane. So, really, in this video, I'm going to walk you through all the WotC sets and PSA 10. We're not going to go through every version, every error, every kind of one-off. We're just going to do the main sets, just the holofoils. I'll kind of talk you guys through it as we kind of dive in. I'll hit a few main points. I included a few special cards, but for the most part, if you're collecting a set, generally this is going to be your chance to sort of see all these cards really up close and personal for the first time. So a lot of these cards, first time they've ever really been on camera at all. So right now, what you can see here is you have a thick thick first edition base PSA 10 set. On the left, you have a thin set. The way you can tell the difference is by looking at the stamp. So you can see this one is thick. The gap in there is thicker. And then the one here, you can see it's very, very thin. So we call this a thin stamp, and the one on the left a thick stamp. So again, for this video, I'm not going to hit every detail. Really just going to show you the cards up close and personal and let you guys see. I'll do the Alakazams for all the sets at first just so you can see. So this is the shadowless, so you can see there's no shadow on the border and there's no first edition stamp. And over here on the far right, you can see this is the unlimited base, the most common variant of all. It's theorized that these three on the left were one print run. Half of it was split, went to first edition. The other half was split and went to shadowless. So you can see there is a shadow kind of along this border right here on the right. And you see the big difference up close and personal. And then the last set is what we call 1999-2000, that print run. PSA is labeling these now. This just doesn't have a label. And the only difference here is a copyright date at the bottom right. It says 1999-2000, whereas the unlimited print says just 1999. I know the lighting's a little tough here, guys, but just bear with me. It's kind of a sad day, too. This will probably be one of the last times all of these cards are together. I'm in the process of relocating, and for security, it just doesn't make sense to put all your eggs in one basket. So I figured I'd do one big hoorah video, show you guys everything. We'll go through all the cards, and you can see thick on the left, then on the right. And yeah, I mean, these are like $40,000 cards each right here. And you know, at some point in the future, hopefully they'll all be reunited. But I just think for safety, security, and all that, you really have to just be careful. So again, you got a thick Zard on the left, thin Zard on the right. Wish I kept more of these over the years. Unfortunately, college wasn't cheap. But I mean, there's just a story with every one of these cards. There's great people that I met along the way, people who helped me tremendously. I cannot understate or overstate how much they helped me. You know, I mean, I got one of these last Hitmonchans from PokeRev. I mean, this was back before PokeRev had his channel and had everything. He was just cracking boxes left and right. I think this is kind of a hard card to get. The Machamp, you have a thick version and a thin version. A lot of people tend to think Machamps just come all the same. And this is the Shadowless Machamp too, so keep that in mind. Man, guys, this is just going to be one epic video. I can't wait. Magneton, I remember back when I was collecting thick Magneton, Gary was always like, hey, it's really hard to find, you know, you can't find it. And I bought it from Gary, and it was like 2 weeks later, more of them popped up, and I was like, ah, yeah, really hard to find, right? It's a beautiful Nidoking, thick on the left, thin on the right. And you can just see these cert numbers. I mean, they're all older. You can see, you know, the cases on the first edition are thinner. And so each of these stacks have the same amount of cards. Like that's Jungle over there. You see that Jungle stack is smaller because the cases used to be thinner. So whenever I was collecting first edition, it's back when they had the really skinny cases. And then now, you know, you got some thick, rigid, some tough cases. So it's kind of cool. All right. It's going to be a long video. Just sit back, relax, enjoy. And this should be the first time anywhere that you can just see all these cards pretty much up close and personal, just right here, you know. Thick on the left, thin on the right. All right, we'll make some room. And you can do all the flashy video edits and stuff, but it's like, you know, every video I've ever done, it's just been me and the cards, just talking you through it. I think there's some sort of holistic, you know, thing to it. So just me, we're going through these beautiful cards. So this is one of the first cards I included 2 versions of. You see on the right, this is a very ruby red Charizard, very, very bright, vibrant colors. On the left, it's very green. And so you can see the border, the yellow border around them are a little bit different. And this one has a very particular hollow pattern. A lot of people are giving this like a matte name, but they're very, very hard to find. And so I figured I'd just show you both. Just beautiful, beautiful cards. I mean, this one on the right is just a gorgeous, gorgeous copy. And pretty ecstatic to have these. So got the Shadowless Clefairy. And again, I think, you know, I could be incredibly informative with some smaller details in these cards, but my main goal with this video is really one to show all of you guys in one place, every card, you know, in one pretty much uncut take. I probably have to pause to switch into next sets and stuff, but this is just your way to see pretty much every card out there when it comes to just WotC set cards. So, you know, no uncommons, commons, rares, no crazy rare like errors and stuff. If it was mass produced by WotC, I'm just going to take you through it. I may throw a few promo sets in here, just kind of depends on how things end up. But yeah, that's the Shadowless set. So we went through first edition thick, first edition thin, Shadowless. And then now, why don't we just do base and fourth print together? And so again, the difference here is the bottom right, the copyright date. And the reason I'm doing these together, they may look very similar, but when they redid this print run, basically some cards, like the coloration changed a little bit, how, you know, the backgrounds look. A lot of fourth print cards tend to be a little bit lighter. Again, the cards on the right tend to be a little bit lighter. Again, not every card changed, but Charizard, for instance, this is one of the cards that changed. Can you notice it right away? You got the little lines right here are very different on the one on the right. So very cool change. Got the Clefairy, pretty cool. The Gyarados. This set was tough to obtain, and I finished this set, the fourth print, or I'm sorry, the 99 set, basically around the same time I was buying a first edition base box. It was like, do I build this set or buy a box? So you can see the Machamp, 99 this one on the right, 99 one on the left, 1999. And there's another version of Machamp. This one is 1999, and I thought this was important to include as well. You can see it's got the Cosmos holofoil. It's got all the circles and stuff kind of mixed in, whereas this has like the Galaxy holofoil, the stars and stuff. And so you can really see the 2 versions. This came out of a 2-player starter deck, the middle Machamp there. So I thought that was kind of important to include. And what's interesting is the 99 one does still have the Galaxy holofoil. So it seems my camera doesn't want to focus. I have like this camera has been like very reliable over the years, but of course, right when you need it, it's like, let's not focus. It's got some Mewtwo's, some Nidokings, and you guys can see all these sets in the set registry. I try to keep it up to date. I try to upload everything. Sometimes things get a little out of whack, and you know, you only have so much time in a day you can do things. Uh-oh, we're running out of room. We're getting down to it. Got the Venusaurs. It's probably unprofessional to keep these little Pokemon in the front, but it's okay. 99 Zapdos. Very cool. And we'll make some room here. And the next set after that was Jungle. Oh, we're losing some Jolteons. We're losing some Jolteons. Oh, no. Fix the glare. No, that's even worse. All right, there we go. I'll fix it in the first ad break. How about that? No ad breaks. How about that? So for Jungle, you basically had 3 versions. You have on the left, the first edition symbol right here. And then when they were making their second print run, they basically forgot the Jungle symbol right here. So you can see it's called no symbol. And on the far right, you basically have just the Jungle symbol. So it's unlimited. So first edition, no symbol, and unlimited. So what I'll do here is, because there's 3 of them, I'll just kind of quickly go through this just so you guys can see it. So first edition. And if you want to pause and look at any of these, you can. My goal is for this to not be a 2-hour video, but just one, just so that you can see every version, every edition, pretty much every single card. So a lot of people collected all the sets. Some people collected Pack Fresh Mint. Some people collect PSA 10s. Very cool. So that's the first edition Jungle set. Uh-oh. Oh man, dude. This just feels so serious. Like, why does this feel so serious? This is just, we're just hanging out, looking at cards. Clefable, no symbol. Electro, no symbol. Flareon. Jolteon, my favorite. Those are all Jolteon no symbols, by the way, too. Those are first edition Jolteons. I love Jolteon. The yellow, the blue. The stories as a kid. The not knowing, is it base, is it jungle? Who knows? We don't know. But yeah, let you guys just check all this out. This is so cool. Yeah, this is also going to be the first time all these are just kind of like in one clip together. This is pretty insane. Vaporeon, the hardest to grade. Venomoth, Victory Bell, Vileplume. Oh, we missed one? No, Vileplume's in. No, oh yeah, we did. Wigglytuff. Dude, we lost a Wiggly. Oh man, dude, I saw that and I was like, oh no, where's the Wiggly? I know I collected the Wigglies. All right. Clefable Unlimited, Electrode, Flareon, Jolteon, love that card, Kangaskhan, Mr. Mime, Nidoqueen, Pidgeot, Pinsir, Scyther, Snorlax, Vaporeon, Venomoth, Victory Bell, Vileplume, tough card and unlimited, and Wigglytuff. Oh, yeah. Think about that, guys. You guys have been through like almost all of the first year Pokemon was released in English. Isn't that crazy? All right. Let's get to some special stuff. So I know I said no errors or crazy variants, but I think Fossil has a variant that's worth including. It is something that is pretty notable when it comes to just, I think, importance for the hobby and everything. So you have first edition Fossil, which is on the left here. You see it as a first edition stamp. You have Unlimited, so no first edition stamp. But you can be thinking, well, what's this stack over here on the right? Like, what's after Unlimited? Well, these came from WotC employees. It's not an official release set. It's something called Cosmos Holofoil Fossil. You can't really pull it out of a pack from what I know. Basically, it was a test print run where they were trying to change their holofoil pattern from Galaxy to Cosmos on the right here. So you can see that. Very, very cool. Very, very hard cards to find. Nearly impossible to locate, even played or just out there. And I was very fortunate to recognize these early and then build sets over the years. So to give an example, basically the set after Fossil is base set 2. And you can see base set 2 is when all the circles and the Cosmos started. So I'm just going to take you through all three of these. And when I go through this, I would just really focus on like the holofoil pattern. And then when I get to the Cosmos, you can really, really notice a difference. How much more it pops. I mean, Cosmos is what they were using with Media Factory, which is what the card company that made all the Japanese cards. And so you can see that really that change from Galaxy to Cosmos, it made a huge difference in my opinion. So we got Articuno, Ditto, Dragonite, Gengar. Oh yeah, getting into it. Haunter, Hitmonlee, Hypno, Kabutops, Lapras, Magneton, Moltres, Muck, Raichu, and Zapdos. Yeah, so like I was saying before, really just for security reasons, I think what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to take the collection and split it up into a few different locations. So it just, to me, it makes the most sense. It makes things sort of more protected, and it kind of keeps sort of things a little bit more ambiguous. So, I just always feel a little nervous just having too much stuff in one place. So I figured record this, share it with you guys, share it with the world. Really, a lot of times when I was collecting, things were not where I was located. I know when I lived in New York, my collection was like many states away, was not in New York City. And it's just so cool to have the opportunity to do this. And I figured tonight's really the last night I have with everything together. So let's make this, let's share it with the community. Let's talk about a few really cool things that we've sort of learned together and discovered. And then we'll go from there. So let's just take a pause here. I want to talk about Zapdos. A lot of you guys may be collecting different versions of Zapdos. So we have the first edition, which you've already seen. This is the Zapdos, which has a 1999 copyright date. It's missing the holofoil on the top. This is the most common version of Zapdos out there. So if anybody tells you it's an error, it is an error, but it's also the most common. Like 90% of Zapdos out there are like this. Then you have the corrected version where they basically fix this little holofoil pattern. And you see it does have a 1999 copyright date, so that's really the only difference is they fix the holofoil pattern. Then if you open a theme deck, you have another Zapdos, but it has a 1990-2000 copyright date, and they switch it to Cosmos holofoil. So you can see that little circles and stuff I was talking about. So a lot of people are like, oh, I got a Cosmos Zapdos. Well, it's got the 1990-2000 date. But if you have a true Cosmos Zapdos, and I'll kind of put these in this order so you can see the order they were sort of came out, you have this version. So you can see how much more that pops. It really, really pops, and it has a 1999 date. So in total, if you want a Master Zapdos set from Fossil, you need 5 copies. You need first edition, the regular unlimited with the error, corrected, the theme deck version, which this isn't labeled. PSA does label this now, and then the Cosmos. So pretty tough to find, and I think it's probably important just to put all these in camera for the first time, just so that you guys can just see them all pretty much right at the same time. So there's all 5 versions of Zapdos. That took a while to figure out and to learn on my own, figure that out. Okay. And then the kind of the coolest set here, I mean, one of my favorites. I mean, it's not cooler than first edition base, let's be honest. First edition base is pretty cool. This is the Cosmos holofoil set, fossil set. And I'll do like another video kind of talking in detail more about these. But this video really is just to show you for the first time my personal set. So it's just a gorgeous set, and it's all English. It's not foreign. This is the only card I don't have in a PSA 9. I will. If you have a PSA 9 of this, reach out to me, gemmintpokemon@gmail.com, and I will very happily work out a deal for you. These just really pop. I mean, you can just tell how different they are. It's one of those sets I kind of didn't really talk about too much, just because I was still collecting. It was really hard for me to find a copy, let alone a 9. So for a while, some of these, I had in lower grades or ungraded for a while. So that's really cool. All right, so we're going to take a pause right here. Actually base set 2. I think I got base set 2 over here. Yeah, so we'll transition over to base set 2. And then I'll take a pause and we'll go through the rest of the sets. So base set 2, again, base set was so successful, so WotC basically made a second version of it. Just put a number 2 symbol here. It was actually very unpopular, simply because not everyone wanted a set with a number 2. It kind of seemed like second rate, or and so WotC learned, and with Legendary Collection, instead of calling it base set 3, which is what they wanted to do probably, they just called it Legendary Collection. Look at that swirl. Oh my gosh. See, back when I collected, started collecting, people didn't really think about swirls or look at them, or it was like, can you find the card in a 10? Because if you could, then it was like, congratulations. Now it's like we're all spoiled, and it's like, oh, I want the perfect swirl, I want this and that. And it's like, I don't know, it's kind of cool to go back and look at all that magic. It's like I didn't collect it for the swirl, but it's so cool just to see the swirl. And so in the background, I got that PSA award for basically having every Charizard in the highest grade. At that time, I don't anymore. A lot of Charizard's been added, and it's just really hard to keep up. And I just don't feel like I should be paying $1,000 for some of these modern Charizards when they show a very clear trend of going down, 6 to 8 months after release. So I'm pretty happy with where I'm at, and sometimes it's cool to be a leader, be competitive, and all that stuff, but it's also cool to let other people grow and flourish and do their own thing too. So it's great that a lot of people sort of try to build that set and keep going. All right, so I'm just going to take a quick pause, and we'll bring in some more WotC sets. And then when you think about the next set up, you essentially have Team Rocket. So right after base set 2 in the year 2000, Wizards of the Coast, they came out with the first edition Team Rocket and Unlimited. So you can see both versions here on the first edition on the left, and then Unlimited on the right. So we will go through that, let you guys see it. Dark Arbok, pretty cool. Dark Blastoise, pretty amazing. You can just see how much more that Cosmos hollow full pattern pops. I mean, you get some cards that just, like this Blastoise on the right, it almost looks like it has double the amount of hollow full as the first edition. So sometimes you get really lucky. And, you know, it is known that some cards will have like lighter hollow full patterns or more, you know, intense or dense. Charizard's pretty cool. You know, right now my goals are basically to finish out the rare sets, finish out the common and uncommon sets. And so I have, I think, all the first edition rares from every set, but I'm still working on the unlimited rares and some commons and uncommons. But this is literally, like, this is goals. This is just, you know, 10 years of just grinding, trying to find these things, pick them up when I can, you know, meet people, go to card shows, go to search eBay every day, you know, look at every PSA 10 that hits the market. You know, am I overpaying? Am I underpaying? Yeah, I got some good deals over the years. I got some pretty bad deals, you know, so it's like it all kind of goes. And I think what's crazy is, and I don't really like talk about this too much, but you know, a lot of these cards were pop 0, pop 1 when I started collecting. So, like, for example, this Magneton, it was the first ever graded. It was the first PSA 10, the unlimited on the right. It was only PSA 10 for a couple of years. And so it's really sort of, I guess, it's kind of a cool, fun fact, but it's, you know, I don't know the truth to it or how many there are, but there's a ton of cards, you know, in this collection that, you know, the PSA 10 you see, it was, you know, the first PSA 10 ever graded. It's hard to know with every card because sometimes lower certs pop up, but, you know, if you're collecting and the cards pop 1 and you own it, you kind of know, like, hey, this is the only PSA 10. I mean, unless someone takes like a 9 of an earlier cert and regrades it a 10, that would probably be the only difference, you know, for it not to be the first. But I think most people prefer to crack a card versus sending it in a case. PSA, they, for whatever reason, it's very difficult to upgrade a 10 in the case. So we've got this. And you saw the stack on the right was, again, taller. It's because the first editions, I got them all back when they had the really, really thin labels, or the thin cases. So, again, just incredible. We're coming up on a pretty special card. These Rainbow Energies were tough to grade. I remember chasing these for a while. I was like, come on, find way. This Raichu on the right took forever to grade. It took forever to find. The first secret rare in all of Wizards of the Coast. That's pretty cool. The Dark Raichu. Really, really pops. All right. And whoa. Sorry about that. They didn't fall over. Trust me. I was just trying to scoot them out of the way, and then, you know, some things are just a two-hand job. You got the Blaine's Moltres here. Again, you got first edition on the left. You have Unlimited on the right with that beautiful swirl right there. Two very elegant, just gorgeous cards. I'm going to avoid saying any prices in this video just because I hope this is just kind of, really, it's a milestone for me. It's just a collection landmark. And I hope this is something that, you know, I can just share with all of you, and, you know, we can appreciate and just see all these cards all together. I mean, this is just absolutely stunning, absolutely incredible. If I do more detailed set videos, maybe I can just go into more detail here with you guys, and you know, show you the backs, the corners, like all that stuff. I hadn't looked at my first edition Lugia 10 in a long time, and I went and looked at it, and I was like, man, this looks like it could be like a BGS 10. It just looked really, really good, and I was like, oh, you know, the wheels start turning a little bit, and it's like, oh, let's buy another PSA 10 and send that one to BGS. But you know, it is what it is. It's pretty cool. Misty Seadra. You can almost see the color on this one on the right. Wow. The one on the right looks more blue. Do you guys notice that? Dude, wouldn't this be cool if, like, in this video we have like a discovery or something? Like, we discover something new. Wouldn't that be like the ultimate, like, collector type of, like, jive thing? Oh yeah, that's so cool. Missy's Tentacruel. I always loved this card. I thought it was really cool. It baffled me why that card was always like $50 and every other card was so much more expensive. It was just always a very attainable card. It never really had a price premium to it, and I was just thought it was kind of cool. So, it's what's cool about collecting cards and figuring out what you like is you can determine what you like, and no one can tell you any different. You can just find your passion, your hobby, and chase it, and it's yours. So not every road has been traveled. There's plenty of things left out there for everyone to collect. Sabrina's Gengar, just gorgeous card. Really pops. I mean, just stunning. Get the Brock here. Beautiful Brock. Again, these gym leaders, these really took off. I always thought these were cool, but I always thought the Pokemon would just price way more aggressively. And these have certainly found their place in the market. Oh, look at that Surge. They both have swirls in very similar places. That's cool. Wouldn't it be cool if after you won like a gym, you would just get a gym leader card? Like this was your badge. This was your token of like, hey, you did it. Very cool. Got Rocket's Trap. Very nice. All right. And here we go. Next up, Gym Challenge. So again, first edition on the left, unlimited on the right. The only difference is this first edition symbol. Beautiful cards here. And then this is another card that has a variant that I thought was worth noting. So you have the first edition Blaine's Charizard. You have the unlimited here in the middle. It has a fighting symbol. These both have fighting symbols right there. And then the last print run of the unlimited Gym Challenge actually changes to a fire symbol. So you can see the fire symbol right here changed a bit. So you really have three versions of this card. The one on the right is significantly more rare. And it was never really priced that way until probably the last couple of years or so. For a while there, if you could find it, it was like you got lucky, and that was cool. But now people seem to have caught on, and it's sometimes for things to price the way they do, you really have to have demand and market awareness. And if you have to train and educate people on certain things, I think it's harder for outsiders to sort of pick up on things and collect. And everybody knows what first edition is. Not everybody knows what no symbol is. Not everybody knows what shadowless is. And I think those are some of the factors that probably hold back those sets from, just reaching true potential when it comes to just rarity, scarcity, and availability. I mean, I think shadowless is far more scarce and rare than no symbol. But no symbol grade's pretty tough, so no symbol is a lower pop. But shadowless price is way higher than no symbol. So there's just all these like market factors that sort of come in together, and they all form the supply and demand curve. So I feel really lucky to have kind of hopped in this when I did, and I kind of felt like just found a real passion in the hobby, really loved the cards, and was willing to collect them regardless of what sort of the price went up or down. And I think I was okay with everything going to zero. I was like, man, this is what I collected as a kid. I couldn't even get all this as a kid. As a child with no income, and your parents would maybe get you a pack every now and then, or I was really relying on going to grandma's house and saying, hey, would love to go to Toys R Us, Books A Million, or wherever, and just see if we can get some packs. Can't tell you how many times I pulled non-holo trainers. Of course, like back then, like we didn't know about weigh-in packs or anything. You just go up to the store counter, grab a pack, open it up, and you hope for the best. And man, I had a lot of luck with trainers. I feel like I pulled the same trainer like over and over again with Team Rocket. It was just nonstop. So cool thing about this Pokemon is the first Pokemon with three sort of, I've called attacks, or three sort of items below. And you see the box for Mewtwo is a little bit tighter. It's not as big. Doesn't take as much of the card picture. Then we see the Zapdos again. One of the coolest Zapdos out there. I mean, just stunning. You can see the card is back to that shape. First edition and unlimited. Sabrina's Alakazam. And here we are back to the gym leaders. You have Blaine, Giovanni, Koga, and Sabrina. Very, very cool. All right, we'll do a quick pause, and I'll be back with the Neo series. So here we go, the Neo series. So basically you have Neo Genesis, you have Neo Discovery, Neo Revelation, and Neo Destiny. These two have the introduction of Shinings. And this is the start of Generation 2 Pokemon, so pretty cool. So here on the left, you can see you have the first edition Ampharos here, number 1. And then you have the Unlimited on the right, number 2. So again, Generation 2, it's pretty special. Initially, this wasn't really on my radar. I collected as a kid. I always thought they were cool. I always thought they were unique. I always thought they just had a little bit more. It was like seeing, base set again, but just from like the Gen 2 standpoint. And then over time, I think more and more people just come to love these cards. They tend to collect them, appreciate them, and I think there's a lot of people that who are experienced collectors who really, really chase Neo. I see a lot of newer collectors, they want base jungle fossil, what they collected as a kid. Then as you sort of get reintroduced to Neo, a lot of people are like, kind of like these. These are pretty cool. And so some very, very special cards. And with Neo, the unlimited cards tend to be extremely low pop. And so what I mean by that is population. So what population means in the grading industry is basically how many cards of that specific grade are in a PS or in that exists. So for Heracross, this was pop 2 for a while. It recently became pop 3, which means there are 3 copies of this unlimited Heracross in the world, which is kind of crazy when you think about how many of these were made, how many years they've been out, how many people have been grading them. And so if you see a card that's pop 2 or 3 and you got one in your collection that could be gradable, it's probably a good sign. Hey, just go on and send that in. See if you can get another PSA 10. Chances are they're probably worth a pretty penny. So again, beautiful, beautiful cards here. And here we go. Here's the Lugia. Very, very special. Very cool card here. Pretty astounding. And this card is, sold as high as 130, as low as, well, I don't want to talk prices in this video. Let's just kind of avoid that. None of these cards are for sale, so it doesn't really matter too much. But you can just kind of see there, it's just a really good looking copy and very, very happy with it. All right, let's get on to Meganium. Again, some of the Generation 2 starters here. Really just, when I look back at when I purchased some of these, it was just knowing at the time that I needed it, what the pop was, how low of a gap it was. And some of the prices, they felt a little high, but it was like, hey, there's only 2 of these, and this is only $50 higher than, what I think the rate is. It's like, I think it's probably worth that risk. And so there's so many instances with so many cards that, like, if I wasn't online at that particular time and that card was listed, there's a good chance that card probably wouldn't be in my collection to this day. There's a lot of very, very passionate collectors out there. Especially the Slow King on the right is very, very tough to obtain, very tough to chase. And I got very lucky with connecting with the right person at the right time and being able to afford it financially. So you can see all the good deals in the world. If you can't pull the trigger, then that card's going to sit. So very, very cool cards. Oh, here we go. So T17, this is the infamous T17. So as you look right here, this is the first Typhlosion ever graded. Pretty cool, pretty special. Got it from my good buddy, Pokemon Master 556, Jeff. On the right here, you can see I had beautiful swirl at the foot of Typhlosion. Again, a very, very tough card to grade, very rare, and a very, very special card. So these cards mean a lot. Yeah, Typhlosion, the number 18 here. And like, I almost feel like I'm walking on a cloud. Sometimes I feel like I'm like going crazy, high energy, like all this stuff. And right now, I just feel like, I kind of feel like I'm just walking across the finish line. Like, tortoise in the hare, slow and steady wins the race. And it's been slow and steady for a really, really long time, guys. And I haven't quite finished the race yet. Let's just put it that way. Like, we still got some room to go, and I'll talk about that here in a little bit. But I really feel like we're getting close. And, if you kind of go all in on the hobby and you just run and gun and just go crazy, sometimes you tend to burn out. And if you keep that kind of smooth temperament as you go through and slow and steady, just little doses every now and then, do pretty good. So this is a new discovery. Houndoom. Houndour. Why this got a hollow, I don't know. It's like its evolution's hollow too. So I always thought that was kind of crazy, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't know, some cards, I guess like Clefairy with base set. I don't know, I guess they just want to mix it up, you know. If there's one card in all Wizards of the Coast, or all of Pokemon that could have got a hollow, Dragonair for base set. Like, why couldn't that be a holographic card? That would have been so cool. So cool. Man, so earlier today, before I put this together, I literally just stood there with all the cards. I just went through them one at a time. I didn't flip through them. I literally pulled them out, looked at every card just one at a time, and just took the moment in. It was the first time I'd looked at a lot of these in a while. I think, once you collect a 10 or once you collect a goal, you tend to sort of, look towards the next goal and move on. And, it's good to kind of appreciate where you've come from and all the sort of roads you've been down. And I think Giannis had a good quote recently, Giannis Antetokounmpo. He said, if you look in the past, that's your ego talking. That's just your ego. You always want to look ahead to the future, and you want to see what's next. And I kind of feel like I'm that way. You kind of meet those people always talking about high school. The best thing that ever happened to them was high school, and it's like you just you want the best thing to happen to you to be in the future. So just try to take that approach with a lot of things. You got Wobbuffet, pretty cool. This Yoshida? Yeah, it is Yoshida. I thought it was Yoshida, but I just want to double check. Yanma, one of the most difficult cards to grade. Very, very tough. This Neo Discovery. And then this is sort of like my call for help here. This is really where I just need some help. And if anyone could help me with this goal, you can see everything you've seen so far as a PSA 10 certified by PSA, except for this. So you got the Ampharos on the left here, PSA 10. You have the Ampharos on the right, PSA 9. This is the single WotC Wizard of the Coast holographic card. I need a PSA 10 to complete all of this that you've seen so far. If anyone has this in their collection that they'd be willing to grade, try to get a 10. I know that there's one that exists. I've been unsuccessful negotiating for it right now. Maybe this video could help us come to a deal. I don't know. But if there's anyone out there that is willing to grade this card to 10 or help me out, I'd be more than willing to try to make something work that's fair for everyone. So please help me out if you can. This will be the end of a very, very long road. So this is Neo Revelation, probably one of a lot of people's favorite sets. I think it kind of goes under the radar because you have Destiny with all the Shinings, you have Neo Genesis with all the starters, but for whatever reason, just Revelations, tough to find, tough to grade, tough to collect. And if you can build this set and collect it, it's pretty special. So this card actually doesn't look hollow foil at all, but it is hollow foil. Neo Revelation does have a version where there's like double hollow, where there's a lot of hollow foil in these cards. To me, on the first edition, it runs about maybe 2 to 5% of all the print run. For Unlimited, it runs about 10 to 20% of the print run. I don't necessarily consider it like a variant like all collectors should collect, or sets or whatever. I have a version of it, but for the purpose of this video, I don't feel like it has a place in kind of the lineage we're going through here, just the chronology of everything. So you have Entei, beautiful cards. You have Ho-Oh, stunning cards. I mean, this is the pair to Lugia. This is the other legendary Pokemon. This is Pokemon Gold right here. Those of you that played that game. You have Houndoom, one of the most stunning cards. Love this artwork, Howling at the Moon. I mean, it's pretty incredible. It really, really is. Jumpluff. Oh, yeah. You got Magneton. This one was a pretty tough to grade for a while. I remember working a deal out for this, and it was tough. It was hard to get, and when I finally made a deal, it was like, ooh, glad to move on from that. Miss Drevis was another tough one. This was the last card I got in the set, a PSA 10 on the left for first edition. It was very, very tough, and it may have taken me 6 months after I had the rest of the set to finally complete the Miss Drevis. Yeah, Porygon 2. Raikou. Oh, look at that moon. Look at that holo on the right. Oh, that unlimited. It's so nice. There we go. Getting into focus without my touching the screen here. Suicune. One of the most valuable cards out there when it comes to Neo Revelation. Ampharos is typically extremely low pop, extremely hard to find, extremely hard to grade. So these are the first shinings. So you can see here, you get the Shining Gyarados, a pretty special card, pretty unique, very, very beautiful, just monstrous card. Again, a secret rare. And then you have Shining Magikarp. Again, this is a really cool card. It plays over, and why it's special, it really plays over from the Japanese. You have the Unicarp, you have the Fan Club Magikarp, you also have the Shiny Magikarp from Neo Revelation. So this card really meant a lot sort of to the Japanese market and all the different versions of it that are out there. So while it may seem kind of weird, in English if you don't know all the backstory, this is a pretty special card in Japan, so it adds a lot of value there. All right, it's Neo Revelation, and let's go on to Destiny. So again, pretty cool name there for the last set here with Neo Destiny. You have Dark Ampharos. And I just want you to notice as we go through the sets, Neo Genesis is fairly basic, Neo Discovery is fairly basic, Neo Rev, a little bit more action. And Destiny, they really ramp up the artworks, the poses, first edition on the left, unlimited on the right. And for the longest time, okay, they're out of order. Oh my gosh. You ever have that moment where it's like, did I forget to collect a card? Where did these cards go? That was right now because the 2 was behind the 3 and I was like, oh no. That actually happened. I think it was in my Black Star promo video. I was going through showing all the Black Star promos and then I was like, oh snap. I skipped a number. But like I use set registry, so like if the card's in there, then I just, I got it. I mean, Dark Espeon's just beautiful. This, anytime I set this out, anywhere I go, people just love looking at this card, holding it, looking at it in person. It's pretty special. And so I think I ended up selling like one of the extra cards I had, and that's where the gap was. So fortunately, that hasn't happened since. But sometimes you tend to sell your duplicates to help fund the rest of what you have, and yeah, that happened. Pretty cool. So Neo Destiny is notorious for silvering on the right border and the top border. Even some of these cards, you can see some of that silvering. For the longest time, people thought Neo Destiny wasn't going to be possible simply because of that. But then PSA, started grading them with just a little bit of silvering. So you can see a little silvering on the right here. And they were able to get PSA 10s. I think almost every Destiny card that's out there probably has silvering to some degree, in my opinion. Dark Typhlosion. Very, very cool card here. Dark Tyranitar. Pretty special. You got Light Arcanine. Light Azumarill. Light Dragonite, and one of the most difficult cards in the set, Light Togetic. Pretty cool. You got Miracle Energy, one of the last holographic energies out there. And I think a lot of people are pretty happy that there aren't too many more because these things are so tough to grade with all the holofoil. They tend to scratch pretty easily, and it seems that they got played a lot. So, if you pull this card, chances are you were going to handle it for a little bit. And so another really special part about Neil Destiny are the shinings. So you got the first edition shining and unlimited shinings here. Very, very cool. Shining Charizard. And one thing I noticed recently, just kind of going back through it, if you look at the Shining Charizard on the left right here, you can see it is shifted up a little bit when it comes to shining pattern. It does go into the top border right here. If I would have noticed that way back when, I probably would have bought another copy. That way I got this sort of error version of it. And the one on the right's a little bit better centered. And so, again, things you don't necessarily notice in the beginning when you're just collecting basics. When you go back through, you can see. So you see the shining doesn't really overlap. It's not really in the top or the bottom. It's within the picture. And I'll show you another example of that here in a second. Shining Mewtwo. Wish I would have kept every copy this card I ever had. I just think this is stunning. This and Expedition Mewtwo are two of the most beautiful copies of Mewtwo that's ever been made. You see the shining, just the pattern changes a little bit there. Shining Noctowl. Probably the shining I was always disappointed to get. If I was chasing it, it was like, let's just get this and be done. Probably the least valuable shining. Shining Raichu. Everyone loves Raichu. Pretty cool. And then this Shining Steelix is another example. So you can see here, this Steelix is kind of within the border. On the left here, you can see it does kind of raise a little bit. It does kind of go up, and you see in the bottom there. So if you want to scroll back to the Charizard, just look at that one more time, just see what I'm talking about. This does happen with Shining. So if I, long term, I'd probably replace this with a more well-centered copy. Because I think just for the main collection, you just want to have really beautiful kind of copies as they were designed, like as WotC intended to produce them. Then I think everything else, errors, variants, like those are all kind of cool. But I think you just want one sort of mint, good-looking copy. Unfortunately, Charizard's like pretty expensive now, so that's going to be pretty tough to do. All right, so give me a second, and I'll be right back with E-Series. So before we hop into E-Series, I actually forgot about one of my favorite collections, something I think is pretty well documented on YouTube, just my journey, my chase, getting Legendary Collection. This was very, very tough. I think my personal PSA 10 submission rate was around 2 to 5%. PSA 10s for holos. Very, very low. Ended up buying a lot of these just from friends, collectors. And what's crazy is this card right here, was a card I graded myself, and it ended up being the first Alakazam ever graded. And in that submission, I graded 2. So I got the Pop 1 and the Pop 2 at the same time. So it was technically Pop 2. It was never Pop 1. They all come together, So there's Alakazam. Articuno. I think at one time I had, I think 2 or 3 of these or something. This is one of those sets that was just so low pop, so hard to chase. And you can see here, really this is base set. A lot of these have the 1992,000 base set artworks. You can see this doesn't have really that dark purple. It has that lighter that you saw in the beginning. And it has a set symbol right here of a metal. So instead of calling it base set 3, they just called it Legendary Collection. And this is actually the first Legendary Collection Charizard ever graded. Pretty cool. So a lot of these sets do have, promos and things like that kind of pair with it that you could also collect. Like these have 3 theme deck promos that are pretty cool. But again, just for the purposes of this video, just kind of stick to the main sets. And then just kind of where I see fit, just kind of pull out a few special variants just to show you guys. So Dark Raichu got its place as a normal set card here, not a secret rare. So that's kind of cool. Got Dark Slowbro. So really Legendary Collection, it's a combination of base, Jungle Fossil, and Team Rocket. There are a lot of rumors of what Wizards of the Coast is going to produce after this. It would have been really, really cool to have another set to collect, especially to see some more promos and stuff, maybe some Neos. I think there's a lot of exclusive Japanese card artworks that we'd love to see Wizards of the Coast have made and, just putting their English touch on them. Probably seen a few more errors. We'll get into E-Series here in a second, but you can see this is really one of the last sets without that E-Series border on the right. And this may be the first Hitmonlee ever graded too. I think E-Birdman graded this, and I think I ended up buying it from him. Jolteon, one of my favorites. Another Jolteon version. I know it's crazy, but there you go. Got the Machamp here. No first edition symbol. So there you go. A little unique Machamp there. Again, the Trainer Deck A Machamp also didn't have a first edition symbol. Got Muck, Ninetales, Venusaur, and Zapdos. So pretty cool. And we get into E-Series. So a lot of people, including myself, were not fans of E-Series when they came out as kids. They looked a little different. They had their big borders. They, really cool artworks, really cool holofoils. But over time, as a collector, you just kind of get older and you're like, wow, this is like Pinnacle Wizards of the Coast. This is really, really cool. And I'm glad that I became a fan. I'm glad I made the plunge to collect. As you can see here, this one set is 32 cards. So they do have reverse holos for these as well. I'm not going to show those here, but just going to show you guys the holographic cards. So you have Alakazam, Ampharos, Arbok, Blastoise, just a killer Blastoise here. Butterfree, the first E-Series holo of all E-Series holos that I picked up. I got it from TCA Gaming. Pretty awesome. Rusty's a good guy. You got the Charizard here. Pretty special card. Clefable, a card that's pretty tough, pretty hard to come by. Cloyster, the Dragonite. I always thought that was so cool. Ooh, man, these artworks are just like, they're pretty special. Dugtrio's another hard card to grade. It's one of those that if you can get a PSA 10, hold on to it. There's somebody that probably wants it. So there's a collector out there probably looking for it somewhere. Furo, Feraligatr, Gengar, Golem. I always thought this was kind of a boring Golem artwork, especially when you see the Skyridge Golem. Kingler. This always just looked like a Krabby to me, but hey, it's Kingler. And we'll finish the set here. You got Machamp, Magby, one of the baby Pokemon. It's holofoil. Looks so sad, but he'll find his way as a Magmar eventually. Meganium, one of the most beautiful cards. Mew, Expedition Mew holo. Get a little glimpse of my forehead there. Pair that with the Mewtwo. Again, a stunning, stunning card. Just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it's unbelievable, like what this artwork, this is too cool. The Ninetales and kind of these older sleeves. I forgot to change this one out. I thought I changed them all out before this video. Pichu. You got Pidgeot. Poliwrath. Raichu. You got Rapidash. Skarmory, probably the lowest pop and hardest to find, hardest to grade in this whole collection. Skarmory is the chase card. It's tough to get. Probably not the most desirable card from a wide base standpoint, but it is certainly the most valuable card. Got Typhlosion, Tyranitar, Venusaur, Vileplume, Weezing. Move on to Aquapolis here. Again, a very, very cool set. This is probably my favorite card in all of Aquapolis. You have the H1 Ampharos. So what they did is they split off the holos into a separate subset called H. You have Arcanine, just another stunning, stunning artwork. Absolutely love Aquapolis. Let's see if I can do this in a way to go a little bit faster. And I'm sure that at some point in the future I'll spend more time on these cards. Kind of talk a little bit more through the artwork on an individual set basis. But again, this is kind of just to put all the cards in one video, have in one place, and you can truly see it's completed because it's all in the same setting. The Entei's very cool. The Espeon, Executor, Houndoom, very cool, very nice. Hypno, Jumpluff, Kingdra, Lantern. Set this up here. You got the Magneton, Muck, Nidoking. See these numbers right here? You see these cert numbers? Some people cert number chase. Ooh, that's cool. You got the Ninetales, Octillery, Scizor, Slowking, Steelix, Sudowoodo. Look at that swirl. Suicune, Tentacruel, Togetic, Tyranitar, Umbreon, Victory Bell, Vileplume, and another stunning Zapdos. Just killer artwork. But the cool part is, like, you can see these sets evolve. You can see them kind of rotate, kind of how the artwork's changed. It's just truly incredible. Yeah, the Alakazam from Skyridge, probably one of my favorite Alakazam artworks ever made. It's just dudes in the zone. It's just like, how do you capture Alakazam better than what this is right here? So Skyridge is the last set made by Wizards of the Coast. It's a pretty stunning set. I guess just to be completely fair, I'll show the crystals for Aquapolis. So you have Kingdra, you have Lugia, you have Nidoking. So these are the 3 secret rares for Aquapolis. I kind of had these set off to the side here. And technically, they're the secret rares for this set right here. So again, to go on with Skyridge, last set made by Wizards of the Coast in 2003. Last set before they lost their license in July of 2003, where it was handed over to Nintendo. They tried to pump out as many things as they could. There were some plans announced in the future they had to disband. And it would be really cool to connect with an employee or someone who has any information on that. Keep you completely anonymous, completely private. But I just from my crazy collector point of view, you know, there's always something new to collect, always something new to chase. It'd be cool to pull it all together. So Dugong, Flareon. I do have some cards, some sets. I don't necessarily want to put in a video or show on camera, but I do have some kind of cool stuff that, you know, highly collectible, very rare, very unique, you know, very hard to find. But it's just not right for a camera. So take from that what you may, but I would love to add to those pieces of the collection. Gyarados, probably one of the coolest Gyarados artworks ever. The color, just the aggressiveness. I mean, this is like that Alakazam, but with Gyarados. You have Houndoom. You have Jolteon. Kabutops. Ledian. Machamp, very, very special. Very cool looking Machamp. And then coming on here, you have Magcargo. Magcargo 2, again, just another all-foil, probably my favorite Magneton in all of Wizards of the Coast. Just, you know, him staring into a Voltorb there. You have another Magneton, a little bit more basic. You have Moltres, Nidoqueen, Piloswine, Politoed, Poliwrath, Raichu, beautiful, beautiful Raikou, Rhydon, Starmie, Steelix, a gorgeous, gorgeous Umbreon here. You have Vaporeon and Xatu. And then to wrap it all up, you have the crystals. And I think just with the way I had these stored, I think the reverse holos are here as well. So if you saw this video a long time ago, you can see them both here. You got Celebi, crystal, and reverse. You have Charizard, the crystal and the reverse. Crobat, crystal and reverse. Same thing with Golem. Like I said, this Golem's like way cooler than that other one. The Expedition Golem is just kind of boring, but this one's like, oh, okay. Kind of reminds me of Star Wars in a way. You have Ho-Oh. Very cool. And then the last crystal in all was the Kos is Kabutops. So that's pretty special. So I think what I'm going to do here is I think I'm just going to take a quick pause and I'm going to go grab a few more sets and I'll kind of keep this going just a little bit. So the last two sets I just want to share with you guys. This one being best of game. It does have a lot of reverse holos inside, so I thought this was pretty cool. And I figure I'll take you through this and one more. These are not cards you can pull out of a booster pack. These are not, you had to go to league events to get these, but I thought it was worth sharing here in this video. So you have Electabuzz, and then you also have a winner Electabuzz. You see the winner stamp right there. So again, both cards are number 1, with the only difference being the winner stamp. Then you have Hitmonchan, again, same thing. You have this version, and then the winner stamp. Very cool. I think some of these cards were super low pop or pop 1 when I completed this. Professor Elm actually does not have a winner stamp. I don't know if rumors are out there, if people are making it up, or I don't know, but I don't think one exists. Like, I haven't seen anything, so that'd be kind of cool if one did come out, but no winner stamp was made for this. So you have Rocket Scizor. So you have the winter stamp version of this. So there's just so many little things you learn over the years, like Aquapolis doesn't have reverse hollow crystals. You know, Professor Elm doesn't have a winter stamp. So rather than spending months and months searching for one, just you can watch this video and find out. So you don't, waste months and months like I did trying to find a Professor Elm winter stamp. So you have Dark Ivysaur, again, kind of pulling from some of the Japanese Game Boy promos and different things like that. But beautiful, beautiful card. You have Dark Venusaur. Such a stunning card right here. I mean, this is so cool. I mean, I like this card. I like this, and then the CD promo Venusaur. That's in Japanese. We can see this and a winter stamp. And then these last two actually only have winter stamp copies. So again, Professor Elm has no winter stamp. These two only have winter stamp copies. So you have Rocket's Hitmonchan and Rocket's Mewtwo. And I guess it's a little ironic since Team Rocket never wins, but kind of cool there. And then there is a Pokemon League, like the League Holos and stuff. I'm not showing those here, but it's basically just 8 to 10 or so, just reverse holos from League. A PSA 10 set of that does not exist yet. There's like 3 cards that are pop 0. And so what I'll do here is, this is kind of the last set that I think is important enough to show you for this video. This is a pre-release Clefable PSA 9. Basically, I think everyone that I know in the hobby pretty much agrees this card will probably never exist in a PSA 10. The corners are cut very, very rough on the back, and I don't think anyone's ever seen a copy even close to a PSA 10. So PSA 9 is as high as it gets. I think a lot of the PSA 9s are probably, they're barely PSA 9s. They're probably pretty close. So very, very rare card, very tough to find. And this is a legitimate release by WotC. So I know there's the rumors of pre-release Raichu and all that, but the pre-release Clefable is the first initial set card to chase, and a 9 is the highest grade. So with Aerodactyl, you really have 2 versions here worth noting. You have this darker stamp, then you also have the gold stamp. So you can see the color of the stamp changes a little bit. This is the international release on the left. You can see it has a Cosmos holofold pattern. The one on the right has the Galaxy holofold pattern. So you have 2 versions of pre-release Aerodactyl. Then you have pre-release Dark Gyarados. Very common card. A lot of people were playing the game. They were out when this existed. So a ton of people probably have this pre-release in their binder over probably any of the other ones. Again, the Team Rocket pre-release, the third main pre-release. And then the last card here is pre-release Misty Seadra. PSA 10. This card was a pop 1 for a long time, and I was like, man, I can't believe I ended up getting this. And then it was like, it went from like pop 1 to like pop 15, like in the same go. I think one guy got like a ton of them all at once, and then all of a sudden the value, it wasn't as valuable if you have a high pop. This is probably one of the more common ones as well with Dark Gyarados. So I just want to say this video was truly just like mind-blowing to make. I mean, I was prepping myself 30 minutes or so before putting this all together, and I was just like getting goosebumps, just like, can't believe I'm finally doing this, finally putting it all into words, putting everything out there for you guys, sharing it all in one video. I thought that was really sort of iconic of the moment. Putting all this together. It was an award I got back in 2018. Actually, when I got the award, I never shared it or showed it to you guys, just because I try to keep this, just try to stay as base as I can. And the people, the relationships, the events, all that's what really matters. And this is sort of the product of all that. And it's great that you have something valuable to show for it. But I was willing to do all this without, the value here. So really appreciate everyone that's helped me get here. Can't say enough. And I really hope this video kind of lasts and it stays out there for people to see, to reference, to see everything in one place. And you can truly see the full scope of what English Wizard of the Coast set card collecting meant for many people out there. So with that, I'll leave you guys. As always, happy collecting, and thank you for hanging out and just being here. Take care, everyone.